Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam, and I'm back at it again with the podcast this week. However, we do not have Alan with us this week because things didn't work out. We couldn't get coordinated. Alan's really lazy and slept past both the times we had scheduled to record. We had scheduled to record on Thursday. He slept for 2 hours past the time that we were supposed to record. And then we were supposed to record today on Sunday when I'm recording this now. And he slept up until that day, up until the time we were supposed to record, and then was too tired to be able to actually function. So, in case you were wondering what happened to the episode from last week, so I was in class on one of the days that we're supposed to record, because we normally record on Wednesdays or Thursdays. Wednesdays we'll record at night, and Thursdays we'll record in the morning, depending on which day we record. But I opened my computer in class to take notes, and my computer was just completely frozen. Like, literally completely frozen. I could move the mouse, and that was it. I couldn't do anything else with my computer. So I shut it down, and I tried to restart it, and all I got was a flashing folder with a question mark on it. And in case you don't know what that is, for people who have Macs, it's the symbol for your hard drive failing. So obviously I was freaking out, and where I sit in my one class, I can't just get up and leave because the teacher can see me. He even says to us in class, if y'all are going to get up and leave in my class, just sit in the back so I don't see you as easily. And so I had to stay for the entire class. I couldn't take any notes. And then after my class, I rushed to the tech center. I said, I got the symbol for my hard drive failing. He said, are you sure? I said, yes, I'm absolutely positive, because this is the third time I've had this happen in the past year. Had the symbol appear, not my hard drive specifically failing. So they opened up my computer, took a look at it, and he was like, oh, well, your hard drive didn't fail. It is the SATA cable. And for those of you who do not know what the SATA cable is, the SATA cable is the cable that connects the hard drive to your computer so that your computer can actually access all of the information that is in the hard drive. Oh, somehow I just got a hair in my mouth. I don't know where that was from. But so they told me that I had to get that cable replaced, but they would test my hard drive just to make sure it was not the hard drive, which it ended up not being, thank God, because I just bought a new hard drive last year. And so I had to order a new SATA cable, and the guy that I was on the phone with from the company that I have the warranty with for the cable that I have said, oh yeah, it'll ship out 1-day shipping, so I expected it to be at my apartment on Friday. Was not there. I called or emailed them again. I was like, hey, y'all told me that it was 1-day shipping, and they looked up my information, and they go, oh, well, yeah, the person you were on the phone with, he put in the order 10 to 15 minutes after our UPS guy left. I was like, wow. So y'all couldn't have told me that. I had to wait until Monday, which when this episode is going up will be a week ago, to get my cable put back in. And the girl who put my cable in literally questioned me so much about it. I was like, I don't know. This is just what they told me. They said the battery might be sliding around, smashing against the cable. I have no idea what, I don't know computer stuff that well. I know how to run my computer and basically Macs in general, but I don't know specifically about hardware of Macs because I haven't taken the time to learn it because I never needed to. Like, my computer was good for 5 years. They said that you're supposed to replace the hard drive like every 2 years. My hard drive lasted for 5 with no problems. And I slipped down steps once, and there's a hole in the back of my computer for people who own a MacBook Pro, the black part that runs in between the base. Like, it's hard to explain like where, but it's kind of like from the base of the computer up at the top, it runs maybe about an inch in all the way across to about another inch in from the other side. There's a gigantic hole in that. Well, not gigantic, but like maybe an inch and a half hole in the back of that has cracked all the way through now. And there's just exposed wires, and my computer survived that. So, like, I figured I don't really need to know about the hardware as long as my computer's fine. But it's all good now. It's all fixed. So, I'm, like, officially going to be putting the podcast on iTunes if the new image works that we have. If you follow the Facebook page, you'll see it on there. It's a new profile picture. But, so if that new image works, which it should, then the podcast will hopefully be up with all the episodes by Thanksgiving Day, I think. If not by Thanksgiving Day, definitely by the next episode, which will probably be another Monday. I think we're changing the date again since football season's over. Because we don't have game days on Saturdays and stuff anymore, we'll have more time to record. However, we may have to do like a 2-week break in December because of finals and stuff, because there's no, like, I'm pretty sure our final schedules do not line up. I'll message Alan right now, like literally while I'm recording, and be like, "Hey, what's your final schedule?" But let's get into the podcast. So I just sending the message. Okay. So this is news. Some of the news that, I mean, there's a lot of news. Let me get rid of some of this stuff that's like more than a week old at this point. Okay. Alright, here we go. So, I don't think we talked about this at all on any of the last podcasts, but Harley Quinn's movie is being called Bird of Prey, and they have a writer. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so they're going to, in the movie, they're going to bring her back, obviously, and they're going to bring back female supervillains and heroes. And it's going to be written by Christina Hodson, who wrote the reboot of The Fugitive and the first Transformers spin-off movie, which is called Bumblebee. Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry, it's not being written, it's being scripted by her. So, that's a little interesting. I haven't seen The Fugitive, but I personally enjoy the Transformers films, so maybe that's a good thing for me, at least. Okay, so it's so hard to do this on my own, like not having somebody to bounce off of. But news recently dropped that Jessica Chastain is going to star and produce in an adaptation of Painkiller Jane, who is a New York cop who gains powers when she almost gets killed and basically becomes a person fueled on vengeance and destruction for the people who tried to kill her. I think this will be interesting, especially because not only will it be, I guess she's a female superhero or an anti-hero, but it'll be the first one that I think is being like heavily produced by a female star, which I think is really good because there needs to be more female superhero movies, not just like TV shows. Like, we're getting all these female superhero leads in TV shows and stuff, but like, we need the movies now because there are so many good female superheroes and female comic book characters that you can then move the genre of comic book films into more than just what they are now, where it's male. Not only is it just male dominated, where females are still there, but they're kind of in the side character roles, but move it to a completely diverse comic book universe where you have male and female, leading stars, and they're also being produced by people who are fans of the characters that are also actors and actresses, i.e. Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool, although I don't know how Deadpool 2 is going to turn out now that Ryan Reynolds has so much producing power. Okay, so on to our next piece of news. So Ghost in the Shell released a new trailer and poster this week, and the trailer was basically and they released a 2-minute feature. I didn't watch the 2-minute feature or see the poster, but I saw the trailer, and the trailer is very, very interesting. It shows a lot of stuff. I haven't seen the animated movie, so Alan would be better to talk about this, but he has to study because for some reason he had 2 tests assigned the Monday before Thanksgiving, which is ridiculous. But so it's a really interesting trailer, and I know that the person who wrote or directed or somebody who had a really big role in the original anime film actually approved Scarlett Johansson's casting, but the trailer just makes it look like she's literally a robot. Like, it doesn't matter. She doesn't blend in with society anyway because she's a robot, if you know what I mean. Like, maybe I saw the featurette and not the trailer. I can't remember. This was like this past weekend. Sorry, I'll say this past weekend. The weekend before this past weekend. But it was a very interesting trailer because having never seen the original Ghost in the Shell animated movie, I was really intrigued by what was going on. Like, I know that she's an android, but I didn't know how cool of an android she was. Oh, okay. So, the next piece of news is that Ryan Reynolds has commented on Tim Miller's departure from Deadpool 2, saying that all he can really say is that it's sad to see him leave the film because they had so much passion for working on the first movie, but we didn't see, like, the clashes that were happening behind the scenes kind of thing. But, like, I guess they're still kind of friends. Okay. So, our next piece of news also has to deal with Deadpool in the terms of Negasonic Teenage Warhead's powers, because Tim Miller came out and revealed that they didn't have the rights to Negasonic's powers, and they wanted to get, like, to powers that fit her name. They had the rights to her powers from the comics, but they wanted to get the rights to powers that more suited her name, and so they traded with Marvel, and Marvel gave them permission, so much so that Marvel then received permission for Ego the Living Planet, which was a character owned by Fox, because it took place in an X-Men comic or a Fantastic Four comic. And so Fox got Negasonic Teenage Warhead's sweet new powers, which hopefully come to comics at some point. I don't know if they will. I think it'll be interesting if they do, simply because it's so different from what she actually has had before. And then Ego the Living Planet obviously is being played by Kurt Russell, so we're going to have to see how that turns out in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But I think it'll be good simply because Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was so amazing. Like, it's up there in my top 5 Marvel films. I don't know how they're going to tie it in to him being Peter Quill's father, but I just know that it's going to be done very, very well. Okay, on to our next piece of news, which also has to deal with Marvel kind of in a way. So, Walt Disney Pictures, which is under the Disney banner. Sorry. Let me redo that. So Disney owns Walt Disney Pictures, Walt Disney Animation, Pixar, Marvel Studios, and Lucasfilm. And now, in a report from TechCrunch, Disney could be purchasing Netflix. And I'm going to tell you why I think this could be good and bad. So, this could be good because, obviously then, all of the Disney films, all of the Marvel films, all of the Pixar films, all of the Disney animated films, all of the Star Wars films, and all the TV shows from all of that will end up most likely streaming on Netflix forever. Like how Netflix original shows already do. And that's a good thing because there's such beloved content. But where I think it's a bad thing is you have Disney that's been around for such a long time. I think almost or at least 100 years, somewhere around the 100-year range. And when they've been around that long, they've amassed a lot of power. They own a lot of things. They own ESPN, they own ABC. Like, they're everywhere. And the reason I think them purchasing Netflix could be bad is only because then Disney's empire becomes stronger. And it shows that when you're the corporate big guy, you can purchase a smaller company and just become bigger and bigger and bigger. And the only reason that I think this is bad, because it's sure good for Disney. Oh, it's good for Disney and Netflix if they do this deal. Because then Netflix is owned by Disney and they'll get rights to things they don't have rights to right now in terms of streaming. And Disney will get some more money coming in from Netflix. But I think it's bad because of the growing empire. I want to see companies that don't just fold into other companies. Like how when Facebook tried to buy Snapchat, Snapchat was like, nah man, get out of here. We're our own thing. We don't need your help. We got this. And I'm pretty sure their IPO went public or is going public very soon. And I just like to see more companies act independently. Personally, as a finance major, I think it's better for the economy if we have more companies acting independently on their own, because then they're bringing in more jobs. Where they're still obviously going to bring in jobs when they're under a larger empire company, kind of like Disney. But when they're on their own, they can expand into their own new things. But I'm sure Disney will allow Netflix to do their own stuff, just like how they're allowing Marvel and Star Wars to do their own things. And when I say I like companies being able to stay independent, I don't mean like they're completely independent with no backers or anything. I mean like they're independent as in they don't have another company that buys them out. I like to see companies stay independent because then they can expand into new things. Like Snapchat releasing freaking spectacles or whatever they're called. That's them expanding into a new market, which will bring them in new jobs. And them just expanding their app in general. Adding new geo filters, adding date-specific geo filters like they did for the election or like they do for specific football games and basketball games, stuff like that. That adds in more jobs because then you have to have people constantly programming that as things update. But I think in the long run, if Marvel purchases Netflix, I'm going to be happy about it just because then I'll get to watch, then I'll most likely get to watch all the Marvel films and all the Star Wars films on Netflix whenever I want, which will be amazing because I don't want to have to buy them all, but at the same time, I want to have to buy them all because I'd like to have them, if you know what I mean. But, so there were rumors going on about this for a while, but they've intensified since AT&T has purchased Time Warner, which I don't think should have happened. I don't think the government should have let that happen because that empire is too big now. Like, I really hope they go back and change it because that's ridiculous how big that thing is getting. Okay, so let's move on to our next piece of news, which is the first trailer for Jackie. And Jackie is the new film starring Natalie Portman about the former First Lady Jackie Kennedy. And in the trailer, you see, so the movie takes place through her eyes, and you see her kind of before and after the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And the trailer starts out with her kind of standing, talking about something, and then it jumps to her in the car after Kennedy gets shot, which the trailer then ends with her and the bodyguard in the car driving away after President Kennedy has been shot. And this trailer was very moving because it portrays one of the most tragic moments in American history to date. Like, I don't think there's been anything since then that has been more tragic besides 9/11. No, yeah, I'm pretty sure nothing has been more tragic than that. Although some people might argue that Trump being elected president was more tragic. Calm down, he's probably not going to get anything done. So, the film opens up December 2nd, and while I will probably not be seeing it in theaters, I am definitely going to be on the lookout for it come Oscar season because I think it's going to be a very, very strong contender for some awards, especially for Natalie Portman in her portrayal of Jackie Kennedy. Okay, our next piece of news is the new trailer for Patriots Day, which portrays the bombing of the Boston Marathon in 2000. I believe it was 2013 or 14. I can't remember off the top of my head, and I forgot to write it down in my notes. So, it stars Mark Wahlberg as a police sergeant named Tommy Saunders, and he joins survivors and first responders and investigators hunting for the terrorists responsible for the act before they then strike again. And in the new trailer, you actually kind of see them going all out looking for these people. Like, they've got SWAT cars, they've got people patrolling the streets. It's crazy. I didn't even know it was this, like, expansive of a search where they had people patrolling the streets because I'm not from Boston. Obviously, I was paying attention to it with the news and everything, but I was not paying that strongly of an attention to it because as a student, I'm focusing on multiple things where adults, sure, you focus on multiple things, but most of the time it's just work and what's going on in the world. Unless you have kids, then it's work, kids and maybe enough time to see what's going on in the rest of the world. So yeah, let's move on to our next piece of news, which is about the Green Hornet. And the Green Hornet movie came out probably 5 or 6 years ago. I don't have that written down, but it is getting a reboot. And Deadline is reporting that Paramount Pictures has somehow gotten the rights to the Green Hornet, and they've gotten the director of The Accountant, Gavin O'Connor, to direct the film. And it will overhaul the central character of Britt Reed into an edgier version that will be the catalyst for a new Green Hornet franchise. And while I'm kind of excited about this, I enjoyed the version with Seth Rogen, but it wasn't that good. I enjoyed it for what it was. So I'm excited for this only because I enjoy the Green Hornet, and I'm also excited for it because I know it's one of my dad's favorite characters. He watches that show whenever it comes on TV. If it's on TV, he flips to that channel. He loves it so much. And so I know that if it's good, he's going to be so happy because he likes this character so much. Okay, on to our next piece of news. So this is something that Alan is not happy about, and it's about the Minecraft movie. Alan, I know you're listening to this right now, and I know you are not happy, and I know you're talking to yourself, and you're going, you know what? I'm not happy about this. I am very, very angry. Adam is right. I know Adam is right, and I can't believe he knew that I was angry. So, Variety is reporting that Alan's favorite actor, and in case you don't know, Alan's favorite actor changes like every other day, but his favorite actor right now is Steve Carell. And Steve Carell is currently in talks, or maybe I think he has signed a contract to join the ensemble of the Minecraft movie. And in case you don't know what Minecraft is, which by this point, if you don't know what it is, have you been living under a rock, or have you been in a coma? Those are the only two ways that you could not know what this is. So Minecraft is a 3D virtual sandbox game that allows players to create their own skins for their avatars and play in an environment using cubes to build a 3D world, and they in turn go into mines and find things, and they battle monsters at night. There's a big world. But as of right now, there's no confirmation on what role Steve Carell will be playing or who will be joining into the movie. And the movie is set to come out in May of 2019. Alan, that is your first year in med school, buddy. So you got that to look forward to after that first year. Okay, our next piece of news is that, according to Entertainment Tonight, Matt Damon will cameo as his Ocean's 11 character in the spin-off Ocean's 8. Matt Damon confirmed that he's doing a small bit in the movie, so we know it's definitely going to be a cameo, if not just like him on the phone or something. Okay, Alan, this news is going to make you very happy. So, in an interview with Vulture, Lin-Manuel Miranda revealed that he's begun work on a secret Disney movie from the ground up, which came about during his work on Moana. And I don't know if I'm allowed to call him Lin or if I have to call him Lin-Manuel Miranda. So I'm just going to call him LMM. So LMM revealed that John Lasseter, who is directing Toy Story 4, told him to meet with the co-director of Zootopia, Byron Howard. And in that meeting, the two sparked an idea for a brand new animated feature film. So this is news to get hyped up about, people, because because LMM has worked on fantastic projects over the years. Too many to name, but obviously the most recent would be Hamilton and Moana, where he wrote and directed. I'm pretty sure he directed Hamilton, as well as starring in Hamilton. but he also wrote most of the songs for Moana. So hopefully this is another sort of Disney princess-style movie with new songs in a new environment. I'm trying to think of some place where we haven't had a Disney film set about a princess. Maybe the land down under. Maybe we go to the great north of Canada. Or maybe we take it to Africa. Who knows? I think those are the only 3 places where we have not had a Disney princess. I mean, granted, somebody in Australia and Canada could be white, so that's another white princess. However, you could make them... You could make... I think there's people in Australia that are Asian. I'm not entirely sure. My sister would know about this because she's obsessed with some band from Australia. And I know there are Eskimos in the Great North, which is where Alan is from. In case you don't know, Alan is part Eskimo, along with being from China, and Japan, and Thailand, and the Philippines. Alan, I'm sorry that I had to give away your secret that you are all types of Asian. But anyway, I think this is definitely something to be excited about because it is Lin-Manuel Miranda, aka LMM. So, onto the next piece of news, we had a new Kong Skull Island trailer and some new posters. The new posters looked epic, and they were shared on Twitter. You can find them. They were shared from Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson. If you just go to their Twitters and you click on media, they will pop up probably in the most recent things. So, the trailer showed more of King Kong, how he's a more bipedal Kong, kind of looks more like a human in the way that he walks. But, oh my goodness, he is gigantic. Like, actually a freaking giant. Okay, on to our next piece of news, which is a new Red Band trailer for Why Him was released by 20th Century Fox. And it's the NSFW, Not Safe for Work, movie about the billionaire Silicon Valley man James Franco, who is dating Bryan Cranston's daughter. I don't remember their characters' names, I'm sorry, but Bryan Cranston is not happy about it because James Franco is a dickhead. He's a dickhead, let me tell you. Bryan Cranston does not like this dude at all. And this dude loves Bryan Cranston's character. Okay, on to our next piece of news. So, comicbook.com interviewed Gabriel Luna, who plays Robbie Reyes, otherwise known as Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and he told comicbook.com that there have been talks about a possible solo spin-off series, and there are definitely deals in place for the potential. And this is a good thing because as we see the growing affection for Robbie Reyes' character, it means that Ghost Rider could be getting a good return in the comics, but it also means that if his popularity grows enough, there could potentially be the first official swap of a TV character into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which needs to be done. Okay, on to our next piece of news. Alan's probably favorite piece of news that dropped this week is the first trailer for Beauty and the Beast, starring Emma Watson as Belle, and obviously the beauty in the title. Dan Stevens is starring as the Beast. It's directed by Bill Condon, and it's based on the animated classic. So, we see Belle break into the Beast's home in the trailer, kind of get her father out of there and take his place. The beast looks insane. He's got some really sweet horns. Kind of looks like a bull's horns, I guess, more than what they are in the animated movie. Actually, hang on. Let me look up there we go. Beauty and the Beast. Right there. Oh, no. It's just the horns are a lighter color. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, sorry. And the horns are back more. So they're more like a goat's horns, not a bull's horns. My bad. So this is interesting because it kind of takes the classic character and changes it, but the CGI is also flawless on these characters. Okay, on to our next piece of news. As we talked about earlier, Bumblebee is getting its first spinoff. Wow. Bumblebee is getting its own movie, and it's the first spinoff in the Transformers franchise. And Deadline is reporting that the studio finally has a script that it's pleased with, and it's going to shortly go out to court directors. Christina Hodson was the writer on the project and recently turned in the script that is making it possible for Paramount to begin production on the movie. The release date is currently set for June 8th, 2018. Right, on to our next piece of news. Oh, okay. I think that's all the news we got. I think that's it. Is it? Let me see. Nope, I lied. That is not all the news we got. Okay. Our next piece of news is that... Oh, no, we talked about that. Sorry. Our next piece of news is that The Last of Us could finally be getting a movie. In 2014, director and screenwriter Neil Druckmann took the stage at San Diego Comic-Con and said there was significant progress being made. And that was 2 years ago. But according to Screen Gems... Sorry. That was from 2014. Now, the reason that progress hasn't been made on the movie is because apparently Neil Druckmann and Sony have been at creative differences. Which, Sony, come on, just let your man make the movie. Let him be. It doesn't have to be a perfect adaptation. While I would enjoy it if it was, it does not have to be. Okay, that is all the news we have for this week, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed our news. But now it is time to review Doctor Strange. So, I saw Doctor Strange the weekend that it came out. So I thought somebody was coming in to where I am recording, but nobody is. I saw Doctor Strange the weekend it came out. I went and saw it with my friend, and we both really enjoyed it. We both got large popcorns because you got to get the large popcorn when you're at the movies. It's something you got to do. And this movie, the visuals are crazy. Benedict Cumberbatch as Dr. Stephen Strange is amazing. And Benedict Wong as Wong is also amazing. The person that I think lacked a little bit was, I would say Caecilius, but Caecilius was pretty good. I think the only person that kind of lacked being there for me was Rachel McAdams' character of whatever her character's name was. I can't remember. It's been 2 weeks since I saw the movie, people. It's not my fault. Okay? But like I said, the visuals are insane. I like it how he actually had to work to become the hero that he ended up not even being by the end of the movie. I mean, obviously he's the hero because the movie's named after him, but I don't want to give away what happened in the end of the movie. But so it's said to have taken place over a multiple number of years, because when he comes back into the real world, Rachel McAdams' character is shocked that he's back. Like, she hasn't talked to him in such a long time, and then all of a sudden, here he is, just popping out of nowhere. But he really, really struggles at first, which is amazing, because it actually shows the struggle that he had to go through to get to where he ends up in the end of the movie. And the amount of enjoyment I got out of this movie was crazy. I think it's my number one of the year. I enjoyed it that much. Just based off enjoyment purposes, obviously. When I first came out of the movie, I gave it a 9 out of 10. But looking back at it, I think I have to give it more of an 8.5. Just because, once again, the villain is underdeveloped in a Marvel movie. You need to work on this, Marvel. You cannot let your villains be underdeveloped in the movie and then just Marvel, I'm getting angry with you. All the villains are underdeveloped. All the villains. Except Loki. Loki is the only one that has not really been developed. Although Dormammu does make a cameo in this movie, he's not the main villain. It is Caecilius, and Caecilius is underdeveloped. You kind of hear about him in the beginning, and you don't really see that much of him till maybe an hour and a half in. Most of the time is spent with Doctor Strange, which is good, but you need some development on the villain as well for us to care about him being a good villain. I mean, that's really kind of all I can tell you without spoiling it. Oh no. So the reason that he struggles is that because he believes so much in science, he doesn't think that magic can be possible without a scientific explanation, which just ends up not working for him, and he almost dies because of it. But, yeah, overall, I enjoyed the movie. My friend really enjoyed the movie. He was all about that movie, like, the entire time, just focused on the screen, not even, like, focused on popcorn or drinks or anything, just focused on, like, he would be staring at the screen and reach down to grab his popcorn, like, to pick up the popcorn thing off the ground to put in his lap, where me, like, sometimes I would look down in my popcorn thing and be like, oh, there's some popcorn that I want. So I think he would probably give the film a 9 out of 10. But overall, I think 8.5 is a good spot for it, just because it's kind of a Phase 1 Marvel film, and we're past that point. We're in Phase 3 now. You just gotta step your game up at this point, Marvel. You can't be chucking out these Phase 1 Marvel films. As much as I enjoyed it, you can't be doing it anymore. We expect something more from you guys now, and it's time to step your games up. But anyway, guys, that is the end of this episode. I hope you've all enjoyed this solo episode once again. Alan, I know you enjoy it because for some reason you love listening to me do the episode solo, so I don't know why you decided to be my co-host when I asked you, since you're all about this me being solo recording thing. You can find us on Spreaker. You can search up 2 Idiots Movies Podcast on Spreaker or 2 Idiots Radio on Spreaker. And the only reason I have it named that is in case we have more shows in the future. Say when I get back from Australia, if Alan and I decide to start another show. Like, I'm thinking maybe we should start a sports show since Alan and I like sports. Well, I like sports as much as I like movies, but Alan probably likes sports more than he likes movies. But Alan is a very biased sports fan at that. I'm able to admit defeat when it happens. Alan is able to admit it, but he will still argue that our team is better. Even in defeat. Which is good, because you're supposed to root for your team, but in defeat, you have to concede. You can also find us on Facebook at 2 Idiots Movies Podcast, and you can email in at 2idiotsmovies@gmail.com. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, share the episode with your friends. I don't have a catchphrase. Maybe I'll have one at some point. Maybe. But anyway, that's the end of the episode. So, hopefully you'll be back next week to listen to Alan and I talk some nonsense. Bye.